Now, there are 2 games coming up. It's going to be a busy week. What a treat it is to be at home on Boxing Day. West Ham visit St Mary's. It's going to be the new manager's first game in charge. You think maybe, Steve, a chance to get a result as well? Will we get the new manager bounce?
Well, I hope so, certainly. But annoyingly, West Ham have come into some kind of run of competence. They're unbeaten in 3, which for them is an excellent run of form. I mean, they drew with Brighton yesterday, Saturday, sorry, and they've beaten Wolves, and I can't remember who their other game was against.
Bournemouth. I drew
Bournemouth. Which, I mean, looking at the moment, that draw down at Bournemouth is looking like an excellent result for them. So yeah, they seem to have kind of worked out a little bit what they're meant to be doing, which is frustrating timing for us. But I mean, they're a team that's got a lot of good players, and it's always been a little bit of a mystery that nobody's really been able to knit them together in some kind of cohesive unit. Lopetegui's been kind of one of the managers at the top of the sack race odds lists all season, really. And yeah, I mean, it's you wonder whether he's kind of stumbled upon something that just about works for them. But they've obviously got some attacking talent that's going to cause us problems. Jared Bowen and Mohamed Kudus are 2 top players who would likely get into most squads in this league, I would say. Probably even as a starter for most of the sides. So yeah, they've got talent that can really hurt you, but they do give you a bit at the other end. They do give you a chance. So that's kind of the hope that ultimately we can just about do a bit more at one end than the other.
They've been a bit hit and miss, Alfie, haven't they? So it depends on what team turn up.
Yeah, they have been hit and miss. I mean, they haven't won 2 games in a row all season, but they've only lost 2 games in a row once all season as well. So they tend to just cycle through draw, win, loss, draw, win, loss.
Hang on, where are we at?
They actually drew the last 2, so it could be either at this point. It's not going to be a draw, it'll either be a win or a loss. But I mean, you mentioned, Steve, Mohamed Kudus. I mean, he obviously missed 5 games with suspension at one point back in October, and I think they struggled to sort of fund that without him, really. He's now back in and obviously playing every minute for them, like you say, Jared Bowen. So they're a team that today Ivan sort of likened to Fulham in a way, in the sense that they've got a lot of pacey players, they've got powerful attackers, and I don't think Lopetegui is in a position to be resting them. So I would expect the likes of Kudus and Bowen and etc. to start. The other thing I reckon, I wonder what sort of effect something like what happened to Mikel Antonio has on a squad in terms of galvanizing a group. And when did that happen? Because they've not lost the last 3, and I think it may have happened before the Wolves game potentially.
It was only a couple of weeks ago, I think.
Yeah. But I mean, look, we all obviously wish the best for Mikel Antonio, obviously here on loan for the JPT. And it looked like, the picture of the car was a mess, and it sounds like a really terrible accident he's been involved in. But the effects that has on a group in terms of galvanizing and bringing people together, I've got no doubt that West Ham won't be down there towards the bottom this season. But then I said that about Everton; they've been dog shit since. So it's like you never know. And also, he's going to want to make an impression, isn't he, Ivan? It's going to be a good atmosphere on Boxing Day, the best day of the year for football. So I'm really interested in the game. It's the most I've looked forward to a Boxing Day game for a while. And I remember going to West Ham maybe 3 years ago now on Boxing Day. Actually, my first ever sort of Boxing Day game away from home on my own. And I remember they got a good result there as well.
We won that, didn't we?
Yeah, won that one, which was a great day. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
I'm buzzing, especially last year it was 5-0, wasn't it? It was Swansea, if I remember rightly. That was a brilliant day out. So are you surprised, Glenn, that Lopetegui's still there? He's been under a bit of pressure. And I know if you talk to some West Ham fans, they will say that he's constantly changing the players and the formation, and it causes a bit of chaos, and they're not convinced that he knows his best 11.
Well, West Ham fans are never happy, are they? They're in that. They're in this strange situation where they've been a middling kind of club for years. They got gifted the ground. Suddenly they're getting 60,000 people in there, and a lot of their fans are probably not as humble as they once were. And you had David Moyes there, who won a European trophy but played pretty dreadful football, or certainly not the way West Ham fans wanted it played. And yeah, for the start of this season, it almost looked like a careful what you wish for type of thing, and they've got Lopetegui in, and it hasn't been brilliant, but as Steve said, he does seem to be getting it right now. Though they should be better than they are when you look at the group of players that they've got. I'm not 100% convinced by them defensively, but there's a hell of a lot of good players in there, certainly in the attacking areas. Though apparently Paquetá is out against us. He's and he's kind of one of the main men.
Something.
I was about to say
that, maybe. So but he's out. I mean, they do still strike. There's the joke about West Ham having signed 27 forwards or something since one scored any goals, and they're still struggling up front because Nicholas Füllkrug isn't fit, though he played at the weekend. So they've been using Jared Bowen as a striker. Obviously, Michael Antonio is not there either. So there's a chance that Danny Ings starts. Yeah, which should be. I mean, Antonio always scored against us, so it would be ironic if his replacement does. I mean, the biggest problem for us is obviously Maxwell Cornet can't play, which is devastating to our against his parent club. But it's always the pace and the physicality of West Ham that bothers me. I mean, you look in their midfield and it's like Thomas Souček, who's like a nightmare at set pieces to defend against. He always seems to be getting his head on things and scores a fair few goals. But we've got to hope that West Ham have a bit of an off day, and that the new manager at Saints gets us playing a certain way that makes them uncomfortable. So bring it on. Looking forward to it. So as you say, Boxing Day, it's a good game to watch football. You're all fed up with your family by then. So bring it on.
I felt for David Moyes this summer in the sense that maybe they did, and I'm just imagining it, but I don't remember them spending sort of 120 million in 1 year for him like they have done for Lopetegui this year. I mean, so they bought Füllkrug, they bought a couple of defenders.
They spent a lot last 2-3 years.
Did they? Yeah. But then, was that the Rice money though, or was that because where's the money coming from?
I mean, Paquetá was about 40 million. Kudus was about 25, 30, something like that. He's proven value for money. Paquetá, we don't really quite know because of all this off-field stuff going on. They've spent a fair wedge. Problem is I think Fabianski's still playing in goal, and he's 39 now. So there's an obvious weak link because I don't.
Do you know who the one player who's played every single minute this season is? Sorry, the one player for West Ham who's played every single minute in the league this season.
Wan-Bissaka?
No, Max Kilman. Interestingly, from Wolves, he's the only player to have played every single minute. They spent a lot of money on this, didn't they? Because there was that story about Maidenhead United. Yeah, Maidenhead United got like X amount of million, 2 million or something because of a sell-on clause. And the rest, it might be more. It might be 8 million or something. I just remember seeing that in the summer. But yeah, Wan-Bissaka's a good point. I mean, he's a good player. So their squad is clearly better than Southampton, and they are punching up if they're going to get anything this week.
Well, let's do some score predictions then, shall we? Steve, do you want to kick us off? New manager bounce. Yes, no, win.
Yeah, new manager bounce.
That happens to everybody else, by the way, apart from us normally.
Clean sheet possible.
Okay.
If we're as organised as we were yesterday. I think Juric is right in what he says that West Ham and Fulham are very similar in the styles when they get it right, and when they're attacking, they are very much a flank driven side. So if you can defend the flanks pretty well, and I think for the most part yesterday we did. I think we were a little bit narrow at times that allowed the cross to come in, but that's been a complaint of Saints teams for the last 15 years, I think. I still think our troubles are at the other end, and as a result, I think we might be settling for back-to-back goalless draws.
Back-to-back goalless draws. Alfie, do you want to continue with your little win, lose, draw?
No, I'm more worried about getting my name on the list, or whatever that list is. I'm a bit concerned about it, but I do think that you have to be sensible, and anybody who's predicting more than 2 goals in this game, based on what we've seen from Ivan Juric's previous teams, is a madman. I just feel that West Ham will be too good, slightly. So I'll go for a 1-0 away win.
Oh, ruin the party. Glenn?
Mm.
Oh, well, I'm an idiot, as you know. So
3-0.
no, I like what Steve said. I think it will be very, very low scoring, and I think we could get another clean sheet. You can't really play like we did at Fulham in a home game. I don't think. You know, you have to offer a little bit more up front than we did in that game. So I think that will be the focus. You know, in the couple of days before that game. So I'm going to go for us to nick a 1-0 win. So I'll go the other way. We'll have a 1-0. I have no idea who's going to score. Maybe a set piece, but
Goal.
let's go for a 1-0 win.